So, as always, you can just hit random. So you have tons of variation. It's like, honestly, all you need is this one generator and you have like a year worth of Square4 basses. Like, you don't need you don't need any other presets. You don't need any, like, you just use this generator, boom, Square4, the riddim rack, baby. Hey yo, what it do, producers? This is Cubic and this is
Cosmo
with Sonic Weaponry, and today we want to show you the future of sound design. You're never gonna have to buy a preset pack again after you see what we've been cooking up. We put months into this. It's crazy the amount of bullshit we've been through to try to create this new, well, we think is this is the new wave. Like, this is gonna make your whole workflow 10 times easier. All those sounds like Yois, like Reese's, Wubs, Wobbles, Tearout Guns, Square4, all these sounds that are gate kept and really complex to figure out how to sound design. We've made it all simple. We've made what we call Dubstep God mode. Literally, like, if you're a gamer, it's like you have aimbot on, but this is for sound design. So Dubstep God mode is an arsenal of 10 bass generators, all equipped with a random button. You can just click random and it gives you literally infinite basses. Each generator focuses on one specific type of bass, like Yois or like Wobbles or Square4 or whatever it is, and you get full customization over the sound, so you can keep clicking random till you find a sound you like, and then you can dial it in more. And I don't know, these things are just crazy. They make stuff a little too easy sometimes, but it's literally, it's so cool being able to use these. It's like buying a preset pack, but the preset pack has an unlimited amount of presets. So
yeah, you can literally bang out a track in like 10 minutes.
Literally. So Dubstep God mode has two bundles inside of it. It's heavy bass generators and Wook Bass Generators. And we're gonna go ahead and show you what exactly these generators are and show off some of the fun ways you can use them. So let's go ahead and check out the Wook Bass Generators. We got 4 of those. We got the Yois generator, the Wubs generator, the Foghorn generator, and to top it off, the Wobble generator. Let's go ahead and check out the Yois generator first. So the nice thing about if you get the full Dubstep God mode bundle is you get a drum pack as well as drop MIDI. So let's go ahead and just drag in a drum loop. And then let's get ourselves some Yois generator MIDI. We have MIDI for every single generator. Each generator gets 10 MIDI that we designed specifically for that generator, so you have a nice starting point. On each generator, like we said, you can click a random knob and get literally infinite generations, infinite Yois, infinite Reese's, infinite whatever the generator is. You just infinite possibilities, but we also have 25 presets on each generator. So let's start out with a preset. That's already fucking gas. You already got like the drop. So basically with the Yois generator, you can control the rate, you can control the way that the Yois sounds. We got a bunch of other settings on every single generator, including some processing racks. So if you don't really know how to process basses like these yet, we already got you covered. And there's even a sustain mode. All right, let's go ahead, switch out the Yois generator for the Wub generator. Let's also grab a new MIDI, because like I said, we got MIDI for every single generator. God, it's too fucking easy. All right, so Wub generator, same sort of deal. Every knob is labeled. We also have a whole tutorial video in each of these packs describing how to use each generator in depth, some of the nuances of each generator to get the most out of it. But we'll go through a couple here. We got rate. You can add some down sampling. You can make it deeper. We got a bunch of different knobs that just kind of shape the tone of the sound and add different harmonics and overtones. Oh, that makes it nasty. And like always, we have extra processing. We got it all taken care of, so it sounds great out of the box. All right, now we got the Wobble generator. Now, the fun thing about the MIDI that we included with the Wook Bass generators is that you can mix and match it. Like, I know we labeled it Wub generator MIDI, but you can use the Wub you can use the Wub generator MIDI with the Wobble generator, and it sounds fucking fire. And again, just a ton of different knobs. You click random a couple times. What the f? Yeah.
I didn't even know I could do that.
Yeah, that's the fun thing too, is like these generators, you keep clicking random and you think you've heard it all and you think you've hit like the max amount of generations and variations you can get, but every time, like without fail, we just run into new sounds where we're like, fuck, I didn't know we could do that. Like, what the fuck is that? And we highly recommend automating these knobs. We made it super easy. You just right click it, change the automation, and you can get even crazier variations. What the fuck? Awesome. Last but not least, we got the Foghorn generator. Now, this isn't completely limited to Wook Bass. We just thought it fit in with the Wook Bass generators more than some of the other generator bundles we have going on. Again, if you get the Dubstep God mode, you get all of them plus 2 bonuses. So the Foghorn generator has a lot of interesting variety. It's all about movement. It's kind of meant to be used as like an either call or response bass. You can't really write like a full drop out of the Foghorn generators like some of the other generators, but it's a really sick sound. So let's check some of it out. Let me grab some Foghorn generator MIDI. This is a rare case where you probably want to use the MIDI we included for it. So as you can hear, a lot of cool movement going on in the Foghorn. And if you don't like that movement or you want to get crazier with it, we give you all the control. We have a good like 4 or 5 knobs on here that are just dedicated to controlling the movement of the sound. Here's one of them. Let's change the timbre. We'll show off a couple more presets real quick. So honestly, you could use that shit for Tearout too. Or jump up. A lot of cool applications. This one, we're super excited to see what sorts of weird shit y'all come up with. It's another one where you keep clicking random and you just get sounds you've never heard before. The cool thing about a lot of these generators is that we set out to make a specific sound that already exists, but because of how we set up the generators, it just creates new things that you haven't really heard before. So like with these generators, not only are you getting these sounds that everyone knows and loves and is familiar with, but through experimentation, you can find a whole new sound and make it your own.
What's up, FL users? So I'm going to be showing you the Dubstep God Mode FL Studio Edition. We're going to be going through the Wook Bass generators, and I'm going to be showing you what you can get out of it. We'll start with one of my favorite generators of all of them, the Yois Bass Generator. They're all pretty cracked, but the Yois Bass Generator is really dope. You can just drag it straight from the folder into your channel rack here. I recommend when you're getting started to just drag in one of these drop MIDIs that are included in the Wook Bass generators. Since we're using the Yois generator, I'm going to grab one of the Yois MIDIs, and we can just drag it straight from here onto our track here. I'm going to drag in one of these drum loops, and this is how it's going to sound when you load it up. And with all of these generators, you can just hit random, and you'll get a bunch of different variations. That's sick. Yeah, and it's really powerful just to hit random a bunch of times. And let's say you find one you like, you can head over to this other tab here, which is going to be the name of the rack and then generator. And then you can go in and you can tweak the sound to your own liking. So for this rack, we have a Yois timbre, Yois amount. We have a bunch of different stuff here that you can control. So we have a couple different tabs here. You have the Yois settings, main controls, extra, and then your fat and space, which is going to be like your fat rack and reverb, delay, and stuff. I'm just going to move some of these Yois settings so you can see how you can further dial this in. If you want to change the rate, this is right here. That's freaking sick. And then what's really cool about this rack is it has this sustain mode and this make it talk, which is really sick for making like Yois type sustains. literally sounds like tape B type stuff, you know, that really wookie, you know.
It's so fucking easy.
Yeah, it's so easy. All right, we're gonna move on to the next generator rack, which is gonna be the Wub generator. This one's really cool. I'm just gonna drag in the default preset. Each one of these actually comes with 25 different presets, which we saved and fine-tuned to make them sound the best. But just dragging in the default, you can just hit random. I'm gonna drag in one of these Wub midis, since we're using the Wub now. Let's just drag anyone in, and I'll show you how we can randomize it and what we can get out of this. When you load it up, this is how it's gonna sound. I'm gonna hit random a couple times. Oh, that's fire.
That's a key.
And then we can go into the settings further and just tweak this. Let's try out some of the phase distortion, maybe pushing some of the tones. It's really dope because basically if you're writing a track and you want variation, quick variation, everything is here. So you can just automate this stuff on your B section or for different like resamples and stuff. It's just really powerful. We're gonna go into the next one, which is gonna be the Wobble generator. So I'm gonna drag the default in here as well as get some of the Wobble generator MIDI. When you load it up, it's gonna sound like this. You're gonna hit random a couple times. I like that one. So I'm going to show you how you can tweak this sound further. I'm going to move some of the timbre and maybe keep the rate the same. And let's mess with the sync. It has a dope phaser in here too with the XY. So if you pull this phaser mix all the way up, you can move this XY to get different tones of it. But yeah, that's what you can get out of the Wobble generator. It's really dope for like that Wook Bass kind of like experimental dub type of style. We're gonna move on to the next generator rack, which is gonna be the Foghorn. This is the last one of the Wook Bass generators, but it's super fire. You can basically use it for a lot of different types of genres. Mainly it's used in dubstep, but you can use it in Tearout, in Wook Bass, in riddim. All right, so let's load up this Foghorn generator and I'll show you what you can expect to get out of it with some randomizations. It's already really sick out of the box, but we'll just hit random a couple times. Super sick. You get like kind of froggy sounds also, like, you know, like that kind of froggy ribbit type of sound. But yeah, going into the main page, you can see you can tweak a lot of different settings here with the movement of the Foghorn, because a Foghorn kind of like phases in and out, which creates that movement sound. And you can control that movement here with the detune. So if I pull this all the way up, or if I pull it down, you get different speeds. You can do other types of movement as well, like this detune movement, which will add like extra on top. And then this more movement's really cool because it's kind of like an auto pan effect. And then if you want to control the tonality, you can do that here with this timbre section. You can pull this all the way up and get like more high pitch type of Foghorns, or a more low pitch type of Foghorns. All right, so that's just a taste of what you can get out of the Foghorn generator. There's so many other things that we can't go through in this short video. I recommend when you get it, just experiment. You can find so many different types of sounds out of all of these racks.
And we have the tutorials in every pack.
Yeah, which is gonna help you when you're using the racks so that you're not confused by anything. And yeah, that's what you can get out of the Wook Bass generators.
All right, let's get these fucking Wook Bass generators out of here. We're not dealing with that shit anymore. It's time for the heavy bass generators. So Dubstep God Mode consists of two bundles, the Wook Bass generators, the heavy bass generators. You get Dubstep God Mode bundle, you get all the shit. You get a drum pack, you get two bonus generators. We're gonna go ahead and show you the heavy bass generators. So let's kick things off with probably the coolest one of them all. This is one of the only generators that doesn't use Serum. So unfortunately, if you don't have Reason Rack, the Square4 generator will not be of use to you. But if you have Reason Rack, first off, you know what's up, because that's how you make the craziest Square4 sounds
Definitely
in
recommend
riddim.
getting it for sure.
Yeah, it's a huge tool, and if you're trying to learn it and understand it better, we do have like other packs on our site that utilize Reason Rack and kind of give you some insight into what sorts of crazy riddim basses you can create with it. But the Square4 generator, you don't have to do any of the work. We did it all for you. It's look how fucking huge it is. We have so much processing, so many different ways you can take your sounds. We have a phaser, a comb, a whole delay rack, frequency shifter, then just, you know, typical post-processing like distortion, OTT. Let's go ahead and drag some drums in here so I can show this puppy off. We got a drum loop, we got our MIDI. Let's check this baby out. Let's put it on one of my favorite presets, the Samplifier preset, where we totally did not rip off Samplifier's sound. Actually, it's not too Samplifier-y. So, as always, you can just hit random. So yeah, you kind of get the gist. Random knob cracked. That's just the beginning of this rack, because like I said, there's so much freaking processing in here. So we have a bunch of settings, mainly having to do with maelstrom and scream distortion inside of Reason Rack, that you can change the whole timbre of the sound. You can fuck with the distortion type. If you don't want there to be so much variation between each quarter note, you can turn down the mod amount. You can turn on the chorus, turn up the feedback. You gotta dial it in a little better than I did, but you know, we're just showing off an example. All right, let's put it back on a classic sound real quick. Let me show you some of this processing. So we got, first off, a vocoder over here. Vocoder is a great way to kind of add variation and adjust the timbre of a sound without actually changing the fundamental too much. Well, that's crazy. You could get really experimental. Got reverb. My favorite section, the phaser section. You can get super sploinky, like make some of that like kind of Mad Dubs OG type of basses. And the fun thing is, all of these processing racks, you can just hit random if you don't know what you're doing. Spelunkier the better. In the comb filter, we have a bunch of notes, so you can use it as almost like a tonal delay. I'm just gonna quickly randomize all of these, and then we'll see what we get. So you have tons of variation. It's like, honestly, all you need is this one generator and you have like a year worth of Square4 basses. Like, you don't need yeah, you don't need any other presets. You don't need any, like, you just use this generator, boom, Square4. It's just the riddim rack, baby. All right, let's check out the sustain generator next. This is a cool one. So the sustain generator, obviously you want a sustain. This is one of the only generators we don't have MIDI for, because, you know, it's a sustain. So it's like, here's the MIDI. So already off to a great start. Great sustain. You could use that as its own bass or a background sustain, but that's not even the start of it. We got, first off, random knob. Let's check it out. So if you hear the beep boops, there's a whole section. Basically, it's broken up into 3 layers. You got the main layer, all the yellow ones, the extra tone layer, the red ones, and then the orange ring mod layer. So the main layer is that kind of just classic, like, oh, okay, that's a good one. Let's start adding on extra layers. So we got the extra tone, or let's turn off the ring mod layer first off. Actually, let's keep the ring mod layer on. Ooh. Add the extra tone. Change the rate. So So that's already so fun to play with just right there. But then we didn't think there was enough pitch shifting going on. So we have a whole shift rack over here. We already got some presets in there for you. All right, then we got another ring mod. And again, you can just randomize all these. Wow, I love the sound of diarrhea. All right, let's keep it there. That's a good spot. I just want to show you one last thing. That's the telephone rack. This shit is big brain as fuck. It just makes everything sound like you're in fucking 2001 and your landline's ringing. And you can change the speed of it. Okay, wait. It works better on other sounds.
I like a triplet, a little lower. Yeah.
Ooh. That's dope. So next up, we got the Tearout Generator. So this one's pretty fucking cool, and it was really hard to make, but we somehow did it. You get near infinite amounts of Tearout Guns from this. And we're gonna need a different drum loop for this one. This is one of my favorites. It's got this cool like gun percussion inside of the drum loop. And then the Tearout MIDI that we made for this is so cracked. Murata in one click, it's crazy. All right, so let's play with this. So basically, kind of the way it's structured is we have two different main styles of guns. We have this. It's kind of a lot more tonal and like, it's like a big donk, like a, I don't know, it's like the Taco Bell dong a little bit. And then we got more of a classic, I don't know, like gun pew pew type. So first off, a huge key with the Tearout Generator to really make it sound good is pitch bending and automation of the tones, because we use a lot of ring mod for this and a shifter. And those will just stay in one place no matter what note you play, so you want to automate them to make shit sound even crazier. There's a lot going on in the Tearout Generator in this section. Again, when you buy the Wook Bass bundle, Heavy Bass bundle, or Dubstep God Mode bundle all together, we have a whole video going in depth on every generator, how it all works, so I'm not going to dive into all these separate settings. I want to show off some of the cool processing racks we have going on with the Tearout Generator. So we have two different types of distortion here. This distortion rack is pretty much a type of phase distortion. It distorts the sound in a much different way than you're probably used to. It kind of breaks it by distorting, I believe, the phase of the sound. So it breaks it, but in a really interesting way that adds a really cool texture to the sound. So let's check it out. If you want, you could just blow it out. I kind of like it, but you know, you might want to tone it down a bit. And it's nice to dial it back with both of these distortion sections, like get it all over the top and stuff, and then dial back the mix so that you have just like a nice texture. See, that adds so much energy to the sound. Next, we got the Death Crunch rack. This is kind of modeled after the sort of distortion that you hear when Sudden Death and Murata collab on Tearout, like their song Peanut Butter. It has like just this wall of noise in the background, and this rack is great for adding that. And again, with all these racks, you just hit random. It just adds so much energy and it just gives it that like kind of Murata feel. And then my favorite part of the Tearout Generator is the phone filter. So you might already kind of guess what this does. It's great for fake outs or for any part of the drop where you just want to restart the energy. You just turn on the phone filter and then boom, instant fake out. God, it's so fucking hype. I fucking love the phone filter. And hey, a little pro tip here. You can go to any of our generator racks and just drag out these processing racks, save them, and then you can use this anywhere you want. So you're kind of getting, you're getting the generators, but you're also getting like 30 processing racks that you can use in your music. And I don't want to toot our own horn, but like they're pretty fucking cracked, all the processing racks. And again, last but not least, we got the Tonal Bass Generator. Now, this is an interesting generator rack. Let me do a different drum loop first. Let's get big man Blastoise in here. I'm just gonna do quarter notes for now. It's a better way to show it off. So this thing has a bunch of variety. I found that it can be used great in jump up and riddim, in just like, heavy dubstep. Also great for future riddim and more experimental kind of tonal, melodic, but also heavy type of basses. The main sauce of the Tonal Bass Generator is the resonator here. It uses Ableton's resonator. We have it all set up for like whatever key your melody is in. You can just click one of our presets. You don't have to figure all that out yourself if you don't know music theory. But before we get into the resonator, let me show you what this puppy can do without the resonator. So you can kind of change like the type of resonance that's happening. So you can already hear that there's tons of different potential applications for this sound, but this sound also really shines at slower rates. We got on a longer note now. So let's go ahead and mess with the resonator a little bit. It's on D, so we're gonna click D here, give it the D, and then and then let's turn up the decay. So that's already cool on its own, but once you start fucking with melodies and automating the different notes, you can get some crazy like tonal future riddim type shit, which I really like. Or if you're really into like that kind of Jekyll and Hyde style of, I don't even know what you'd call it, riddim?
It's like tonal riddim.
Yeah, tonal riddim, using like feedback and all that sort of thing. You can get some crazy sounds out of here just like that, and then you just distort it a little bit with some of our process. And I mean, I don't really know music theory that well, so sometimes I'll just fuck with all the notes. What the fuck? So I think the Tonal Bass Generator is really cool. I think it does take some experimenting to figure out like the best ways to utilize it, but I tell you, when you fuck with this rack, you find some crazy sounds that just give you instant inspiration. And like I said, it works great in a lot of different genres.
All right, we're back in FL Studio, and I'm gonna be showing you guys what you can expect to get out of the heavy bass generator pack. Let's start with the Square4 Generator, which is one of my favorites.
I mean hey, it's mine too. That's it's probably the best generator we have.
I mean, they're all pretty good, but this one, especially if you're trying to do like trench or like, like Infex, Samplifier type of stuff, this rack, Mad Dubs, this rack is the one for you. So let's just load up one of the MIDI files that comes with the heavy bass generators. So we'll go into the Square4 folder since we're using the Square4, and we'll just drag in one of these. And then I already have a drum loop here. So this is how the Square4 generator is gonna sound out the box. Every time you load up one of the default patches, it's gonna be on this randomized page. The racks come with 25 presets each, which we fine tune to get the max out of each sound, dial them in. But this is how it's gonna sound when you first load up the Square4 generator. So right out of the box, it already sounds really good. There's a lot of processing. If you're curious to know, it's like a lot of mapping that we had to do to get it to work. So like, just know that this is already processed and ready to go in a track. There's a lot of stuff in the back end that you can tweak, but I'll hit random a couple times, show you what you can get out of it. Oh, that's already a banger right there. So let's say you find a sound that you really like I like this one. We can go into the Square4 Generator tab. Each one is going to come with their own little page where you can tweak the sound further. So this rack was basically made with Reason Rack. If you're not familiar with Reason Rack, it's a really cracked DAW, but they have a rack that you can use within FL and Ableton. If you don't have it, I really highly recommend you go grab it because it's the best thing to make rhythm sounds. So if you don't have it, sadly this won't work for you. But yeah, I recommend grabbing it. So a lot of the main knobs that you're gonna need to like make a rhythm sound is all macroed here. So you don't necessarily even have to know how to use Reason to use this rack. That's the cool thing about it. But the main stuff here is going to be in the main controls and then the length. That's where you're going to control the speed of it. So let's say I want this to be faster or slower. And then here I can change like some of the tone of it. So let's say I want it to be like a little different. Or I want some like distortion in there. The scream filter is like the Reason distortion for rhythm sounds. Yeah, and then what's really powerful in this rack is we separated some of the processing into these little sections here. So for example, we have the Reason phaser with all of the macro knobs, which is really handy because if you just want to dial in a phaser really quickly, you can just set some of these knobs up and you'll already get kind of that wet rhythm sound. Really easy to get out of here. There's just so much stuff to go through in this rack. It's super powerful, but that's kind of the main, some of the main stuff I can go through right now. But I recommend grabbing it and just going through it. You'll find so much different variations out of this.
Literally, it's like all you need for like a year's worth of rhythm.
Facts.
Like, you can get insane amounts of variety out of this. You might get the most variety out of this generator.
Yeah, it's just like, look at this mapping. It's just insane. All right, next we're going to go through the sustain generator. So let's just drag in the default. So now what I'm going to do is just set a long mini note like a sustain would be. Most sustains are just one long note carried out. And I'm going to find a drum loop. So let's just grab this one. All right, so this is how it's going to sound when you load up the sustain generator. I'm going to hit random a couple times. Oh, shit. Oh, that's sick. So let's say you like this one, you can go to the backend page and then just move around some of the knobs. So the way this one works is there's 3 different layers. There's a main tone, you have an extra tone, and then you have a ring mod layer. So if you press these 2 buttons, you can turn off these 2 layers, and then the ring mod is controlled by this knob here. So let's start with the main layer, and I'm gonna reset the shifter, and we can just start moving this around. Yeah, so that's the main tone, and then you have this extra tone, which is cool because it's like kind of a plucky sound. So if I just turn this on, you can hear. It's got like an LFO on it, and you can control the rate here. You have the frequency of the tone here, which would be really sick to automate in your track. I recommend automating a lot of these knobs to get a lot of variation. Like for example, if you have a B section in your track and you're trying to get like a variation, you could just automate some of these knobs and get different tones. That's what's really cool about it. Lastly, you have this ring mod layer, which is gonna be kind of a high pitched, crunchy type of sound. And you can control that ring mod layer here as well as the down sample. The most powerful thing I think in this rack is gonna be these extra like things here where you can apply like ring mod or even like a telephone type of effect. So I have this sound here, and then you can just pull up this telephone effect and we'll pull up the rate, which just makes it like almost like space laces kind of sounding. It's really sick. It's got that like nice movement. And then you have this ring mod, which will pretty much fuck up the sound entirely and make it sound like a completely different sound.
Turn on the alien shit.
Oh, the alien shit's dope.
That's my favorite knob.
So like, let's say you dial these all in how you like it. What you can do is just hit random, and anything that has an asterisk on it is not going to be randomized. So I can set these how I want it and then just hit random. What the fuck? It just get like more results really quick. It's just like super interesting. So like you can get like really default types of sustains that you're expecting, but then you can also get stuff that you're not expecting and spark creativity. You know what I mean? Like help you write unique tracks and stand out. And that's pretty much the sustain generator. There's so much more that you can get out of it. But we're gonna go to the next one, which is going to be the Tearout generator. Let's go. All right, so I'm gonna load up one of these Tearout midis. So when you load up the Tearout generator, it's gonna sound like this. And let's hit random a couple times to show you what you can get out of it. All right, that's already pretty sick. I want to tweak this further. So on this page, how the Tearout generator works is you have the main tone, and then you have this impact section and destroy section. This is just post-processing stuff. This section here, you can change like the main tone, which is going to control kind of the tonality, and you can switch between two different gun styles, as well as changing the convolution reverb. So you can change like the pitch of the reverb by using this stretch. You can change the decay, which is how long it is. And then you also have a ring mod, which will basically add tonality and different types of like random like tones to the sound. So let's just mess around with some of these knobs and I'll show you what it does. Yeah, it's pretty sick. So then what's really dope about this rack, I think, is going to be the distortion section, because a lot of Tearout songs are like really distorted, and that's what kind of gives it the character. So for example, if we take this sound and we have this really cool Maraudizer, I don't really know how to say it, but basically sounds like Marauda.
The Maraudizer.
Yeah, that.
We made that word up. It's in the dictionary now.
Yeah, Marauda, don't sue us. So basically, I'm going to pull this all the way up, and you can see, because of that nice, like, kind of mid-crunch. It's really sick. And then we have, like, two more types of distortion. You have, like, just a regular crunchy type of distortion. So if we just move up this crunch mix, I can show you. Almost like that like sudden death kind of blown out but like super aggressive type of sound. And then this death crunch is like gonna be like super extreme, but for some tracks that's what you need. Just adds that top texture that like a lot of guns are missing, that I think this is really important. And then we have a phase distortion knob, which is really dope for like changing the tone even further. It just makes it like way more aggressive. And yeah, there's so much more you can get out of it. I would recommend just hitting random. The most dopest thing about this rack is gonna be the phone filter. This is super sick. We basically didn't just make, you know, an EQ phone filter that a lot of people have in their racks. This has a couple of other sauce on it, so we're really proud of this one. Yeah, it's super dope. So we recommend right clicking, doing activate, and then automate this in your DAW. And then for like a fake out section like this, you can just turn on this phone filter and then take out the drums. Just move this over and basically you'll get something like this. It's just super easy.
So hype.
Yeah, I love this phone filter. Definitely thinking about dropping it as a free pack sometime and a free product sometime soon.
So subscribe.
Yes, sir. All right, so going forward, we're gonna go into one of my other favorite racks. Is gonna be the Tonal Generator rack. This is something that's very unique and different than a lot of other sample pack and preset companies out there. It's just something unique to the generator racks, because with generator racks, you can do not just a preset, you're basically getting processing on top of it. So you can get like insane sounds out of these generator racks.
And it's just like infinite presets. Like,
yeah,
don't buy any more preset packs. Just buy generators.
Yeah. So when you load up the generator rack, it's gonna sound something like this. I'll start with the quarter note sound so you can see like how it kind of sounds. I'll change up the drum loop as well. That was more of a Tearout drum loop. We'll grab this mellow one again. I really like this one. So when you load it up by default, it's gonna sound a little bit like small and puny. You might not like understand why it sounds like that, But the power of this is going to be adding like notes. That's why this is set up here on this randomized section. So right now we're in the key of D. So I recommend just putting the root note on it and then changing the decay on it. You start getting tonality, but what gets crazy is when you layer like a fifth or other notes in it. So let's do like a fifth. Or even if you do like a note up and give tension. You know, you get that crazy metallic like Jekyll and Hyde kind of sound. It also, this rack really does work for like jump up and like other types of genres too.
Oh yeah, you can even get some like ominous type like metallic tonal sound.
Oh yeah, I can actually show that. So if we get like a smaller MIDI and we'll like this, we can do something like this. We get this basically. And then if we give it some tonality, it's already really sick. So yeah, the main thing of this rack is gonna be this these note sections. But if you want to take the sound further, I recommend going to the backend page. So let's set this back to how we had it on G. If you're not sure what the fifth is, you can just count 7 notes up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then you have the fifth. And then we'll go to this backend page. You can change the main tone and the layer, which is gonna be the main kind of stuff here. It's gonna be these 2 sections. Oh, that's super sick. Even if you add like a little bit of flow. It's really sick. It's a dope rack. You can even experiment with just throwing in random notes, like if you want. But one thing about this rack is when you add a lot of notes, it's going to add some delay. That's just the nature of resonators. So I would recommend resampling it, or if you're doing like extreme stuff like this.
And because it's a resonator, on different notes, it'll interact differently. So
Yeah.
it can be great for melodies, like if you want to make future rhythm.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so that's what you can expect to get out of the Wook and heavy bass generators, all included in the Dubstep God mode. But that's not all. We still have 2 other generator racks as a bonus that you'll get, the Reese and the Sub generator.
Reese generator's crazy, dude.
Yeah, literally never have to make another Reese again. Definitely want to grab this before everyone just starts abusing it. It's gonna be an unfair advantage, so I definitely recommend copying this.
Yeah, we got the link in the description. We have demos on there. You can check out what the Reese generator sounds like, for instance.
Yeah, we put a lot of time into this, so it'll definitely be worth it.
Yeah, this is literally going to change the game. It's going to change your workflow. Like, you never need to make a Yois again. You never need to make a Reese again. Like, you can focus on other cool sounds and making your own sounds and like.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, this is Cosmos and
Cubic
from Sonic Weaponry, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.